He is risen. He is risen indeed. Welcome to another Christian Streamer Conversations. This one's about watered down streams. Kind of like, do we as Christians sometimes, we do, actually sometimes we do, tend to, let's say, not go full bore for the gospel or go full bore as Christians, but we water down our streams to make it more palatable, make it more easy to be digested. And there is a certain case and cause for that, to be not, to make sure your conversation is turned toward the audience, right? But I'm talking about just as you as a streamer, what are you doing? What are you doing as a Christian streamer? Are you watering down your conversation? So first off, conversation is an oral exchange of sentiments, observations, opinions, or ideas. It's also an informal discussion of an issue by representatives of governments, institutions, or groups. That's us, okay? We are the group. We are the ones exchanging the sentiments, observation, opinions, ideas. By the way, anything that I use, anything I say, you should be talking about in a chat or ask me questions in the chat, which is fine. You know, the conversation is between you and me. And so the old you is you guys, and then me is me. So first I want to bring up Daniel. So my church is going through Daniel right now. And this is a reminder, okay? A reminder of what we saw in the book of Daniel. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, by the way, those are their Babylonian names. Those are not their Jewish names. At this point, we're in chapter 3, and we're gone from Nebuchadnezzar had built this huge, oh my gosh, 90-foot tall statue and told everybody to worship it, okay? And so some of the people in charge are like, hey, those dudes over there, they're not praying. And Nebuchadnezzar was very mad at them. Very mad. Very mad. Called them in and said, look, I'll give you a chance, okay? Right now. Go ahead and bow down, worship it, okay? And we'll all be good, okay? And they're like, no. Now, mind you, of course, they could have easily bowed down in their heart, in their mind, and they could have prayed, without actually worshiping. They could have worshiped their Lord or God. They could have been like bowing down, pretending they're bowing to Jerusalem, but no. So, oh, Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. Those are some of the most powerful words, I think. Well, Christ's words are a lot more powerful, okay, but in the Bible. They're saying that, look, our God can save us if he chooses to save us out of your hand, your mighty hand, okay, out of the fiery furnace. But if he doesn't, we're going home to be the Lord. We're going home to be with God. And isn't that a much more important thing and a better thing than being here? So they had no fear. They had no fear. Mind you, Chris, don't get me wrong, okay? They had some fear, okay? I mean, come on. You're going to be thrown into a fiery furnace. There's a fear, but your body being burned. Be like, I gotta stand brave. Even a brave person has somewhat of a fear, okay? I heard a quote one time where they said, like, basically, if you don't have any fear, you're not brave. Maybe you're just a coward, or even like a weakling. But here they have these three. They bow. We don't know where Daniel's at, okay? Daniel's somewhere else right now. He would have been here too, but he wasn't. But anyways, these three said, look, no. How many of us are facing the same thing in the world we see today? We're as streamers, okay? Well, look, if you serve the idol of Twitch, okay? If you serve the idol of some great streamer, okay? If you serve the idol of money, if you serve the idol of views, if you serve the idol of followers, okay? Then you can become like us. You can have all the riches you want. You can bow down to these and you can have all these wonderful things. But you're just giving your life away to something else, okay? Say, well, but I'm serving God. Well, by doing what? By are you sharing the gospel? Well, I'm kind of waiting for someone to ask me. I'll share the gospel if someone asks me. So why don't you share it before? I don't want to upset anybody. Oh, I see. You don't want to upset anybody. You don't want to upset Nebuchadnezzar. Okay. Well, no. I mean, I'm doing this so because I can get more views and more likes. Because if I water down my message, okay, not in a watery way, but just water it down, then maybe people will come in and watch me more. I'll have a better chance of actually sharing the gospel with them, or they can come to my Discord and I can talk to them. I can make an engagement with them. I can become friends with them, which is fine, by the way. It's not fine to have an engagement with them and becoming friends with them. But you're doing it at what expense? Okay, what are you doing it at what? Okay, you're bowing down to the idol. Now, someone argue and say, Ken, you're kind of being stretching this a little too far. Okay, I could be. Yeah, I want to make sure that we are not watering down our streams. You have to answer yourself to God, not me. Okay, so I just want to make sure you understanding this and you have made your right choices. God with us, Emmanuel. Emmanuel means God with us. So from Isaiah 43:2, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, you shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. That is God talking with us. That is God giving us the statement through Isaiah. God is with us. So you think somehow the human beings here on earth are more important and more powerful than God? Are you more afraid of people than of God? I am at times. You're wrong. I am at times. Yeah, I'm afraid someone's going to get mad at me and not like me and get upset with me, or not be my friend, or as a family member walk away from me. Yeah, I am fear of that. I fear that. But I'm trying also not to fear that. I want God to give me the courage and the grace to say it and do it. I mean, I can be very powerful here on the stream because it's just me talking. No one's here. I mean, you guys are here, but I mean, like here in person. If you guys walk away from me, I won't know. So we want to make sure that we understand God's with us in everything we're doing, okay? We've got to make sure that we understand that God is going to be on our side. Other thing is from Job, okay? Though he slay me, I will hope in him. Yet I will argue my ways to his face. Mind you, that's something about God, right? Is that he enjoys us doing that. He enjoys us coming to him and talking to him and giving our doubts and our fears and our worries and whatnot, and handing them off to him. And he'll also talk to you. I mean, Job was like, Job was arguing all this stuff with God, and God's like, hang on a minute. Job's like, okay, what? Right, good. God's going to talk to me now. I've been praying to him and talking to him. Now he's going to answer me. Yeah. Where were you when the foundations of the world were being built? And Job's like, oh, okay. Had to back off and realize that he had gone too far, okay, but not too far, because God is okay, because God restored Job. You will have suffering in this world. You will have challenges. You will not be gifted with a mighty, wealthy, whatever, okay? You're not going to have the prosperity gospel just bless you hand over hand, right? You're not going to have the name it and claim it, where you can name it and you can claim it and it's yours thing, right? You're not going to have the word of faith where it's like you don't have any faith or enough faith, therefore that's why you're not being blessed. You will suffer. There will be suffering in this world. So who will you trust? We will all face a fiery trial. It's a given fact. What will you do when that happens? Will you trust in yourself? A lot of people do. They're like, I can trust in myself. I know me. I can't trust anybody else here, but I can trust me. I know my skills, my abilities. I can do anything. That guy who said, I have all this money. I have all these things. I'm going to tear down my barns. I'm going to build new barns, okay? New silos and store all my food for more wealth, more prosperity. See, I can do this on my own. And God's like, yeah, well, tonight your life is forfeit. Trusting your family? No, it's okay to trust your family. I'm not arguing that, but you should not trust your family with your faith, your salvation, with your commitment to God. There are times that people do get weighed down. I mean, the Bible talks about the fact that you're going to have husbands and wives having problems or breaking up because of Christ, right? The distrust between fathers and sons and mothers and daughters, all because of Christ's name. It's going to happen. So you need to stream too. How about your job? Trusting your job, your community? Well, my job, I got a secure job, and I'm not gonna get laid off. This company's been around for 100 years. It won't lay people off. I'm good, right? Are you that certain that your life and your job is that committed, right? Don't be thinking it's gonna happen. Okay, it might happen. And your community too. Like, well, but we've seen that, right? I mean, what happens when the elections go the wrong way and you start seeing things going in a different direction, right? So How about trusting in Jesus? How about trusting in the one who died on the cross for your sins? How about trusting him? How about trusting him that he will get you through everything? So if you choose to be a streamer, okay, and you're not going to water it down and be firm in the faith, right? Then God will bless you. Will he bless you with many followers? Maybe not. Will he bless you with lots of money? Maybe not. Will he bless you with all the fame and fortune? Maybe not. But you can live with yourself. You can live without regrets. And you can serve God in the capacity that he chooses to have you serve him. So what should we do? The world is filled with gifts, okay? But none of them are God. I mean, we live in a world that's wonderful. The God created a beautiful world. We have beautiful vistas, okay? Oceans and mountains and forests and trees and even the sands and dunes, right? We have friends, we have family, we have art, we have music, we have so many gifts, right? But the world cannot satisfy. Only Jesus. Only Jesus. When pressured to conform, choose God. There is never a risk in trusting God. There is no regret. There is no regret in trusting God. So do not feel pressured to conform. You're going to be pressured to conform. If you're a streamer trying to conform to the world or how to be the best to be a streamer, how best to get to all the clicks and the views and whatnot, then you're conforming to something that's not real. Okay, you're not taking the trust and risk in God. You're going to have regrets. Okay, you cannot imagine what God is doing in your life. You can't. You can't. Don't even try. Just trust in Jesus. Okay, there's no way you can imagine what God is doing in your life. Well, but I'm going to make it happen. Really, I already had conversation before about Abraham and Sarah. It's like, well, you said we're having a kid. Well, yeah, you're having a kid someday. Well, I'm going to help you out there, God. It's like, oh my gosh, And so how'd that work out? It didn't work too good, right? Trust that God is with you in the fiery trials of life. When those three were in that fire, Nebuchadnezzar was like, whoa. Hey, guys. Did we throw three of them in there? Well, yeah, sir. Yes, sir. You threw three of them in there. Why is he four? There's four in there. Yeah. Hey guys, come on out. And they come out, right? There's no smell of smoke on them. Like, oh my gosh, their clothes aren't burned. There's no smell of smoke. Like, they weren't touched, right? They were in a fiery furnace and not touched because God has got you. Trust that God is with you in the fiery trials of life. Beware of conviction without conversion. Okay, you're going to find people who have a conviction and will speak it clear in day, but they're not converted and not covered. Nebuchadnezzar, after the guys came out of the fiery furnace, okay, was very much like, oh my gosh, your God is magnificent and wonderful. Matter of fact, I'm going to put a decree out that says everyone should worship your God and never talk bad. If they talk bad about your God, I'm going to punish them, okay? But Nebuchadnezzar didn't really convert, did he? He didn't convert. So beware conviction without conversion. Jesus, it's all about Jesus. The gospel means good news. The bad news is we have all sinned and we deserve the wrath to come. Jesus the Messiah, the Christ, died for our sins, was buried, and then raised again on the third day according to the scriptures. It was written by God. If you want to know what he's talking about, it is there. He ascended into heaven and sits now at the right hand of God the Father. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. The time is fulfilled. The kingdom of God is at hand. Repent and believe in the gospel. What is the most important thing in the world? So this was a question that Konrad Adenauer asked Billy Graham in 1962. Konrad Adenauer was a guy who was a anti-Nazi. Okay, and after the war, he became Chancellor of Germany. And as he was exiting his time as Chancellor, he asked Billy Graham, what is the most important thing in the world? Before Billy Graham could even answer, Konrad Adenauer said, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ is alive, then there is hope for the world. If Jesus Christ is in the grave, then I don't see the slightest glimmer of hope on the horizon. Another way he's been quoted was that outside the resurrection, there is no hope for mankind. Watered down streams. So what are you going to do as a streamer? Are you going to water it down? Are you going to give in to the Nebuchadnezzar's of this world? Are you going to bow down to his idol? The one that basically says, you do this, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll have the wealth, the prosperity, all the stuff you need. Or are you going to water it down because you're afraid? You're afraid of people, not afraid of God. You're afraid of the fiery trials that might happen. You're going to have fiery trials, okay? How many people try to get out of having a fiery trial? You have it anyways. So don't give in. I mean, don't give in, but don't just think it's never going to happen. It's going to happen. So just don't give in to the world. Stick firm to your convictions. Stick firm to the gospel. Stick firm to Jesus, because you can't imagine what God's working on your life. You can't even try, so don't even bother to try. And there you have it. All right. Now you guys can talk, okay? Now I'll turn the alerts on again, okay? So I'll put this out on YouTube. And we'll see. I don't know. And we're gonna raid the GMA people in half an hour because they're doing Dads After Dark. Well, Dads, it's their version of Pads, but changed now to Dads, hosted by Aki and Peach, or Aki and Peach. First episode because Pads is on a hiatus right now. Well, yeah, I'm part of the whole idea of helping GMA out. Okay, I want to see what they say. I want to see what they got to say. I want to see what Aki's got to say. Aki, I have no real issues with. Okay, I do find some of his discernment be issues because of the people he tends to hang out with, but he, I think, is a really genuine guy, and his story is really cool. I'm rating Dads. Okay, I'm not going to stream after that. I'll stream maybe later on. Maybe I'll do after Pads or Dads. I'll do a stream. I don't know if they're going to be 2 hours. That's why they're thinking. I may be only an hour long Dad's show. Only hour long. Then I'm going to be I'll be back on again at in an hour from now. If it's 2 hours, I'll be back on again. Maybe any questions, by the way? This covers the conversation. Did anybody have any questions or any comments about what I just said? Anything that might have made like one you wonder, or just like no, I disagree or I agree. I mean, don't say you agree totally, because that means then you're just sucking up to me. I don't want suck ups, okay? I have been streaming since 2013. It's now been 9 years, because obviously April is when I first did it. And so next year it'll be 10 years. So 10 years will be definitely interesting. And I've been called out about being watered down. You said there's never a risk. I disagree. Okay. I don't agree fully with what you said. Fine. I agree. So let me know. What do you say there's never a risk? What's the risk that you're saying is not a risk? And what part of you, Amos, don't you agree with? That's fine. I mean, I want to hear. This is a conversation. If I've got something wrong, I need to know, okay? I need to know. I mean, I may be this bearded knowledge and this older guy, okay, who mature a Christian, okay? You might lose your own life. Is that a risk? So I understand, Yoshi, that I understand the idea of losing your life is a risk, okay? But is it a risk? There is I agree, there is a heavy cost to choosing Christ, especially those people across the world who have given their lives, whether in the Middle East or in China, places where basically you can be executed and killed for being a Christian or giving your life to Christ. You might lose your family, and there is a risk. I get that, but is there ever a risk in trusting God, because your sanctity, your salvation, your eternity is in the balance? I think it's okay not to speak the Bible the whole. I didn't say the whole stream. I'm sorry, Amos. My statement wasn't about that you got to talk the Bible the entire stream. What I'm saying is that people water it down where they do not mention the gospel, okay? They do not mention the gospel. They will not call up or talk about anything scriptural or theological or, that their faith, okay? They just like, come into my Discord and talk to you then. And that's why I'm thinking like you water it down, because now you're like, well, that person may go. That's how it's been coming off from you and Fuzz Lady. Oh, okay. No, I don't. Well, wait a minute. Come on. So Amos, the thing about is that I do not do my whole stream talking about the Bible. I mean, I spent what 5 hours playing Fortnite on Friday. Well, we did talk about the Christian suffering. It was not all about the Bible. This is why never is a generalization that needs too many caveats. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You do mostly, okay. Well, I do bring it up. I don't do it all the time, which is not. It's fine. Okay, I'm hoping to balance it out. I'm trying to balance it out. If I wanted to be a total just chatting or type of thing, right, it'd be one thing. But I'm playing games too. But that's a good point, Yoshi, about never. There's never a risk. I mean, so to me, so if I'm talking about a Christian streamer, what risk do they have? I don't see a Christian streamer losing their life over being a Christian streamer. So if my conversation is about Christian watering down their stream, then are they risking it by that? I suppose they could risk their income. If they say that you were already a partner and you had all your followers, yeah. But is there a regret there? Is there a risk? I mean, that's the thing. You're going to have. So here's my problem, Yoshi. I get the idea. Yeah, Muslim convert could be doxxed and killed. So absent from the body, present with the Lord. I'm not saying that we should do this to get ourselves killed sooner to get to heaven. But it's like what is if you're risking yourself, then are you risking your salvation for somebody else? Are you risking your idea of your paternal reward because you want to satisfy what's happening in this world? That's the main thing about when pressuring to conform, choose God. And those three, Meshach, oh my gosh, you always forget the names, gang. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they had a choice. Because if you undefine all the common understandings of risk, then sure, you can say never. Okay, no, that's fair enough. That's a good point. Good point. I suppose I could clarify that and how I say the word never. And how I was saying there is a risk. But it's a more of a physical risk than it is a spiritual risk, I guess. When pressure to conform, choose God. I mean, after all, those three had a choice and they said no. And they knew the punishment was fiery furnace. So there was a risk trusting God. And their risk was the fact that they would be dead. But then again, they had no regret. Okay? If we're willing to risk ourselves in trusting God, and that risk is us dying, or that risk is us being doxxed, or if that risk is losing followers, then we're conforming to this world, okay? And they're going to have regret. You're going to have regret. You stand firm in that you don't know. Again, you don't know when God is going to do for you or what he's doing for you behind the scenes. You are siding with the winning side, but you'll never have to fight the spiritual battle. Yeah. You're right, 29-7. That's scary. So I went back to Amos's statement. I try to every stream is share the gospel. I don't want to water it down. People want to ask me questions, I'll answer them. People want to come in and have a discussion about things, I want to make sure I'll be discussing it. I don't want to push them off somewhere. My concern is the fact that this person may be here and not there tomorrow. This person may be here today and then not in my Discord tomorrow. They may not come along and to know me. So, yeah, that's a good question. Really good. That's good, God. Glad you guys. That's what I want. That's what I want. Conversation be like that. There is never a risk in trusting God. There is no regret. There is a risk trusting God from a human point of view. There's a risk trusting God from a physical point that you could lose your life. You could lose your job. You could lose your followings. Okay. But there's no regret in that. You may have concerns and issues and feeling bad and wondering what's going on. You may think God's not with you. But then again, you also recognize you're fighting a spiritual battle and therefore God's with you. But again, you cannot imagine what God is doing in your life. You don't even try. You must trust Jesus. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. Okay. Trust that God is with you in the fiery trials of life. That's the thing about this message, is the fact that you look at those guys, they did not know that God was going to pull them out of the fire. So they knew there was a risk in following God and trusting God. But that's okay, right? So I'm sitting here thinking, I understand that there's a risk in life. There's a risk to what you're doing. And I can say this from my comfy level right now, right? I have a decent job. I feel like I call it I'm living my good life now. You know, I'm able to see family and friends. I can help people out wherever I can, both monetarily and prayerfully. And I can do these kind of things. So it makes me feel like I'm actually contributing somewhere, streaming and be able to do this and sharing the gospel with people. So, you know, I'm feeling, you know, while I have issues with my marriage, it's like I don't have the same kind of issues that other people have with their marriages. So maybe my risk is not there anymore because I've already given that risk up. When someone asked me the question on Friday about have I ever been not punished was the word, or not tortured either. Have you ever been have I ever experienced suffering? That's right, that's what it was. And I said, yeah. The one time, a couple of times, basically due to my wife, who basically not a Christian, and she was not with me, but against me. You know, and I gave in. I gave in. I had huge regrets in not trusting God. Okay, I had the risk I saw was that I was losing my family, and I was losing my kids, and I was like, no, and I didn't want that to happen. So I didn't trust God that He would got me. Okay, so I had huge regrets. Later on, when God forgave me and He pushed me again, I tried again, and this time around, I had my daughter, one of my daughters, with me, behind me, helping me, you know, and that was good. So it was like that time I decided to stand firm and making it happen. I had someone behind me, so that was good. When I gave up gaming, you know, after I committed my adultery, I gave it up because it was a pathway to me doing the bad things, and I decided to, hey, let's keep my life focused on You and not game anymore. God gave me back my gaming. So there's a risk there. Yes, there's a risk there, and there's a risk to God. But that to me, it's the spiritual risk versus the physical risk, and there is never a risk trusting God. There is never a risk in trusting God because there is no regret. And that's something you got to answer for yourself, really. Same with the streamers. I'm trying to be advised and be these beard of knowledge and saying, look, don't give in. Don't give in to the pressure of this world. Don't give in to the images of Nebuchadnezzar. Don't give in to bowing down to the false idols that exist out here in life. Because if you bow down to the false idols of life, right, you're going to regret it because God will be like, excuse me? You trust them more than me? And then she's like, well, no, but wait a minute. So when I see these, that's why when I look at these Christian streamers who've made it, who successfully have made it, so to speak, become partner, I'm wondering, okay, have you watered down anything? Some I say have, and some I say haven't. And that's where I don't know. I have not deep dived people extensively enough to find out if they've sacrificed anything or not. Or, if they've conformed to this world and not of the spiritual world. Check out the further adventures of Kennethan by liking and subscribing and watching me live on twitch.tv/Kennethan.